welcome. I'd like to welcome all of you to our program today, Cash In on Your Authentic Voice. I'm glad to have you here today. My name is Norma Hollis, and I am going to be your trainer for this masterclass. Our call is going to be just about an hour long, and you're going to leave with some ideas that will help you move your career forward and your personal life as well. So stay to the end, and I have some special offers to share with you. I suggest that you get pen and paper, because generally I share a lot of information and you want to take notes. And there's also a couple exercises I'm going to have you invite you to do. You're going to need pen and paper for. So I'll tell you now and suggest that you get some ready for you. And while we're getting that and getting ready, why don't you go to the chat room and just say hello, tell me your name, where you're from, and why you're here today, what it is that you would like to learn. And Linda, who's been my right hand for a number of years, is going to read off some of the comments that you've made. So just go to the chat box, and if you know where to find that, that's at the bottom of your screen. You'll see the word chat. You can click on that, and then you can write on the right-hand side your comments. So tell us your name, where you're from, and what you're hoping to gain from today. Linda, do you have something to read off? Or are they shy this morning?
They are shy this morning.
All right, well, I'll let them be shy, and we'll just go ahead and move on. Okay. Let me see this. So this is for you today, if you are a speaker, and particularly if you're trying to figure out how to gain success in your career. This is also for you if you're a coach, and especially if you've been using the same material for years and you're ready to add a deeper layer, especially if it impacts diversity. And it's also for you if you are a leader who is seeking to be more engaging with your team. And it's for you if you've had enough of trying to figure out by yourself how to become successful. Maybe you've spent thousands of dollars, I know I have, and you haven't emerged yet as the authentic speaker, coach, or leader that you want and know that you can be. And perhaps you're tired of cookie cutter type training programs that just don't give you what you need. This program is designed for you, and particularly in these days, because life tossed us all around in 2020. And that was quite a challenge. It was like we were on a roller coaster ride for the whole time of the year. I bet some of you have felt upside down in the last few months. So many people have taken this time, though, to examine their life, to look at where they are, where they've been, where they're going, where they want to be. And from my perspective, it's a really important time for speakers, for coaches, and for leaders. Collectively, we hold the mindset and the potential of humanity. We're a major group of people who influence others. When speakers stand on stage, they're looked up to. When coaches facilitate a call, their wisdom is relied upon. When leaders direct a team, they lead change. As speakers, coaches, and leaders, this is an important time for us to be at the top of our game. I want to introduce you to two women who have the same challenges that we all have, seeking to get to the top of the game. One is Michelle. Now, Michelle has been on the journey for about 15 years. She has a burning desire to become an influencer because she has a really important message that she wants to share, and she knows that she can help a lot of people, but she just can't get it right. She just can't decide whether to be a speaker, a coach, a writer, or just what. She changes her message every single month, and she follows all of the gurus and really has invested in most of them. And then there's Marva. Marva has the same goals as Michelle does, but she chose a different path for development and actually shaved years off of her learning curve. Plus, she learned how to find her own path and make sure she was on her path before striking out on her own. She influences many people without even knowing that she's doing it. Oops, didn't mean to do that. And she coaches sometimes, but really loves to train. She has a consistent platform that she repurposes for different audiences. She loves learning about it and expressing her message in authentic ways. And she pretty much stays pretty happy. But both Michelle and Marva have had the same challenges that I've had, and probably that you have had as well. The first is lacking clarity, not being clear of what is your true message. What is it you really want to speak about? What is it that is your coaching specialty or specialties? As a leader, what's your style and how are you going to lead most effectively? And because of lacking clarity, you lack direction. You're not sure what to do next. You know that there's a process to this, but you're not sure. And the gurus have told you things and you spend thousands of dollars learning from them, but now you're on information overload. You've just learned so much information and you don't know quite how to put it in order and how to move yourself forward. And especially since some of the gurus have given you cookie cutter programs just like everybody else's program, and you really want to be unique. So you've gone and you've paid money and you've done the right thing, but oftentimes in the wrong order at the wrong time. But you still have your dreams. When I had my bureau, 99%, I had a speakers bureau for 14 years. I was the first Black woman to own a bureau for Black speakers. And that's where I learned a lot about the speaking industry. And during that time, 99% of the speakers who were attracted to me and to my bureau wanted to make a difference in the world. They really had the same basic message. They just came about it in a different way. And as a result, we pretty much had the same dreams. We dreamed of having clarity, being very clear of what our next steps are and what we're here for, and what we're doing, what's our mission. Influencing others, being around a network of people with similar thoughts, having a lifestyle that we dream of that is not so stressful and is easy to maneuver, having meaning in our life, making profit, and getting things automated so it happens a lot faster. And you probably have more dreams beyond that. Above all, we want to fit our big dream. What is your big dream? What's the big dream that all of the activity you're doing, you're striving for? You know, many people are not aware of this, but there's research that came out recently that says that the most productive decade of human life is between 60 and 70. That surprises most people. The second most decades between 70 and 80, and the third most impactful decade and meaningful decade is 50 to 60. So that really concludes if you're under 50, you're really still in training. You're just practicing. You're doing the things to get ready to meet your dreams. The dreams don't come as early as you like, even though society may tell you that. But if you stay on the path, you get to your dreams. So what if you were invited to take part in a contest, to win a spot to share your specialty? Maybe it's Les Brown calling you to speak at his next event. Or maybe it's WBEX. WBEX is the World Business and Executive Coaches Summit, representing 186,000 coaches around the world. And maybe they reached out to you to speak at their summit. Or maybe you got a call from a top international leadership organization to have a vendor spot, a big vendor spot at their conference. How would you prepare so that you would win the contest? Now, Michelle prepares by being confused about her professional identity, not knowing quite sure where she fits in the world, and starts from scratch every time she has a new project. Then she tries to imitate someone else in content and style. She's feeling anxious and uncertain, mainly because she's not sure of what to focus on. And she's not sleeping well, and she's not eating healthy because she's so absorbed in the preparation that she can't quite get to herself. And then there's Marva. Marva found the key to authenticity. And she gets clarity, she assesses her content, she plans a course of action, and she practices deep self-care and prepares a presentation. She listens to the needs of her client and of her inner voice. She checks out her alignments with the inviter. We'll talk a lot about alignments as I move forward. And she aligns her core message with the message that is needed. Now, I wonder, which one are you? Are you Michelle, going through the anxiety of starting from scratch each time and trying to figure out what you want to do? Or are you with Marva? You have the key to your success and you know exactly what you're going to do and how you're going to modify your signature presentation, your signature coaching style, your basic program so that it fits where you're going and what you're invited to. The difference with Marva is that she chose to be authentic. She chose to be a little deeper with herself. She chose not to be a cookie cutter person in how she spoke or how she coached or how she leaded. Instead, she chose to go deeper. So how do you go deeper? Deeper within, so that you can be confident that you're being authentic. You can have the courage to get out there and share your message. You can be aligned with your authentic self to reach more people, to make a difference, to get known, and to get paid. You know, one thing that 2020 did is that it opened up a lot of people's eyes to how shallow life is being led, and the value of going deeper with who you are, going deeper with what you serve, who you serve, going deeper in how you serve. And that's why authenticity is so important. It's so important to put you on the path of your particular gift and talents, uniqueness that you bring to the planet, and not cookie cutter feedback of doing what other people are doing, but doing it uniquely of your own. My getting there was a roller coaster journey, up and down and up and down and up and down. I mentioned that I had my bureau for 14 years. I was the first Black woman to own a speaker bureau for Black speakers. And it went pretty well. And then the recession hit. And of course, that was a downstroke. And that was to figure it out. What am I going to do next? How do I take this? What do I do with what I've done and move forward? And then I turned part of it into a system for speakers that I call my rapid speaking system, which helps speakers know the process to move themselves successfully. And that was working well. Then I had a period of deep confusion because there was deaths all around me. My mother, my father, my brother, my husband was murdered, and just things just kept going. And I couldn't quite get myself straightened out. And then I put all my things together and turned it into the Be Authentic method, which is what I'm sharing with you today. I had to cross the bridge. I had to go from the challenges of life to the joys of life. And it wasn't easy. This is how I felt when I got started in this journey and was making the difference. This is when I had left a husband, I had left a business, I had left different things, and it just wasn't working out. And I just felt like I was dragging and pulling and trying to get success, but not knowing how I was going to be there, much like Marva. Much like Michelle. I was following Michelle's pattern of not being clear what my message was. It changed regularly, and just not knowing who I was, and therefore not living joyfully. When I was preparing this presentation and looking for a picture to represent that time frame, I couldn't find any, because all the pictures I have now are of me smiling or doing something. I'm learning to play golf, and I'm dancing every chance I get. I've changed my energy. I've turned it around to a new energy. So I used the bureau, and rather than the recession, I looked at leverage. How do I leverage what I learned when I owned my bureau? How do I leverage the people I met, the speakers I met, the other bureau owners that I met, the people in the industry? How do I leverage all of that? How do I connect that with my rapid speaking system? That's still part of my journey and part of what I've gone through. How do I pull that together? How do I pull that so I have more clarity? And that's what I did. And that's how I ended up with the Be Authentic model. And that model and having that place in my life has given me great joy. It's taken me to China for 2 months. I went to China and I spent the first period of time speaking to large groups. And then I spent the second month teaching at a university. And when I teach people authenticity, I also teach them speaking and coaching. So these ladies you see me with, I taught them, and then they taught authenticity, the process, to their peers. And that way the message goes on, and we create more authenticity in the world. They created authenticity in their world and help the people in their world do the same. I also get invited by Les Brown. He called one day and said, "Let me interview you." And things like that happen when you get to a certain place of authenticity. You are attracting energy to you that helps you personally and career-wise. Even to the point that I also have an invitation with WBEX. I'll be one of their showcase speakers on March 17th of 2021, which is a great joy. But these are the things that you attract to you when you get your energy aligned and you're able to move yourself forward properly, being your authentic self. But along the way, we all make mistakes. I made more mistakes than I care to remember, but I'll share a few. There are 3 common ones that I found. The first, which is real common with speakers, is starting before you're clear on your message, your purpose, and your platform. You lack clarity. This is a big issue and it takes a while to resolve. We'll talk about that in a minute. Mistake number 2 is thinking that content and a well-delivered message or service is all you need. You know, you hear content is king. So you do content, but it's more than that. You have to leverage it. And the third mistake is lacking what I call authentic alignment, aligning all the aspects of yourself so you're going in the same direction. Makes life a lot easier. Let's talk about mistake number 1. You start marketing before you know your message. When you're not clear on your message, that's when you lack confidence on stage. If you're like me, you've had times when you've been on stage and you just really weren't as confident as you knew you could be. And as I examined that in myself, I found that that was most often when I wasn't really clear on my message, when I was bringing a new message to the front and I hadn't done it before and I was just a little insecure. And this is what I find is the greatest challenge with speakers, because it takes a long time to get your message right. There's a requirement of real balance that's required here, because you want your message to be unique to you and not look like cookie cutter speaking, cookie cutter coaching, or cookie cutter leadership styles. And when it's time to share your message, that way you're far more confident when you know your stuff. Now, as we're coming to 2021, anything now is possible. We have all survived 2020, which means that we can set our own course for 2021 without fear, with clarity about what you speak about, what your coaching specialties are, who you lead, how you engage people, what you say, how you say it, what you do next, and how you take care of yourself. Don't strive to be like everybody else. Strive to be authentic. Strive to be your true, authentic self. Now, getting to your true, authentic message, in my experience, there's 3 parts to it: passion, experience, and expertise. As a speaker, coach, or leader, there should always be passion in what you do. Passion in your message, passion in how you work with other people, passion in how you engage others in your leadership role. Oftentimes, what we end up speaking on is based on our experience. What we end up coaching on is based on our experience. So what is your experience? Here I have a picture of someone in a hot air balloon. Well, your experience doesn't have to be that dramatic. Maybe your experience is that you were the oldest of 12 children and you learned independence very early. Or maybe you won the lottery. Or maybe some other experience that you've had that's unique that you can share. Sometimes your experience that you share is to help other people not go through the same challenges. And sometimes just to bring them joy and entertainment. Maybe what you're sharing is your expertise. What have you been doing for decades that you know very, very, very well, where you become an expert in it? And that's where you share your wisdom as a speaker in your message, as a coach with your clients, or as a leader with the people that you lead. Now, here's an exercise I invite you to do with that pen and paper I suggested that you get together. Make a horizontal line on your paper, maybe towards the middle or the bottom. This is what I call the timeline method to getting a clue to finding your unique message. Now, you're going to make some straight lines, vertical lines on here. And on the one on the far left, write the number 0. And on the far right, write your current age. And for each of the marks, separate them by 5 years and put the age you were at that time. I don't expect you to finish the exercise now. I'm gonna give you the instructions and you can finish it at a later time. And then what you're gonna do, you're gonna take a week or maybe even a month and reflect on your life. And think about all the great things that you remember from as far back as you can remember them. And think about all the challenges and the pain and the negative things that you've gone through. And then you're going to put them on this timeline. You're going to put the good things and the memorable, happy things above the line, and the things that were not so happy underneath the line. And when you've exhausted your reflection and you've thought about all that you can think about, then take the piece of paper and sit down and reflect on it. And see if you see patterns. I should say, see what patterns you see. Because all of us have patterns. We have threads in our life that keep showing up over and over and over again. But we don't always recognize them because we're living our life. But if you stop and reflect, you can probably see some patterns that are showing up. And those patterns are clues to what it is you're here to speak about. See, I think everyone that speaks or coaches or leads comes with a message and a reason to help other people, and that is reflected in the life that you've led. And the clue to being clear on that, to being authentic with, is finding what that theme is. That's exercise number 1, to assist you to find the foundation and the uniqueness of your personal message as a speaker, a coach, or a leader. Now, mistake number 2 is you're not leveraging your message. You know, I showed you my roller coaster ride and how it changed, and I went from recession to leveraging and realizing that, you know, I had accomplished a lot when I had the bureau and met a lot of people, but I wasn't leveraging those contacts. Another way to look at leveraging is recycling, like the boots here that someone recycled to turn them into a flower pot. Another word to use for leveraging is repurposing. You may have heard that term. When you repurpose things, you use the same foundational content and use it in different ways. So many speakers, coaches, and leaders end up with a pie graph that looks something like this, where they have most of their income coming from one area and a small part of income maybe from another area. Or maybe their whole pie graph is one color of green. The people who were the most negatively impacted financially when the virus hit were people who had one single source of income. The more sources of incomes you have, the more flexibility you have and greater opportunity of surviving whatever may come up forward in the future. So repurposing means leveraging your information so that your pie chart looks more like this. And you have more than 1 or 2 sources where you're receiving income from the information and the knowledge that you have. For speakers and coaches and leaders all, it means you can do many other things. You can write books, you can do telesummits, you can do group coaching. There's so many things that you can do to leverage what you have to generate more income. That's mistake number 2. And then mistake number 3 is lacking authenticity. And I mean that from a broader sense of authenticity. You know, you talk about authenticity and people talk about it being genuine and honest and sincere, and all that is true. But also, what is your authentic energy? What's the personal energy you live with? How do you align your energy with what it is you're doing and with your business? Or do you have everything going in a different direction? When you're going in different directions, it's very hard to get success. It's very hard to overcome your blocks. You're blocking yourself when you're doing that. You don't want to go in different directions. You want to be aligned. Now, alignment means different people, different things to different people. While this is a spiral, it is aligned. There's a pattern to it. There's an order to it. You can see things are going in a similar direction. This is another example of alignment. They're different colors, but they're the same basic pattern, going in the same direction. They're aligned together. They're not going in different directions. This is a different type of an alignment. This is an alignment of wood going in the same direction. This is another type of an alignment. This is a more organic alignment that is not made by man, but is made by nature. It has different types of patterns and are not maybe as organized as the patterns that you see before it, but it's still an organized pattern and it is aligned. What's your alignment? When you're out of alignment, sometimes it's because you're in the frame and you can't see it and you need someone to help you see it. But when you are not aligned, you spend a lot of time, often in an effort that is almost useless, trying to make alignment work. In this picture, it's going to be a long time before that lady's able to get that frame aligned with the other. So it's really important to start out and move yourself in areas of alignment. Let me give you another exercise. On your paper, write this diagram, this cross. Now, at the top and bottom of this, write the word formal at top and informal at the bottom. And then for the horizontal lines, write dominant and easygoing. Now reflect again. You see, I do a lot of reflection. I think that's very important for authenticity and for growth. Reflect on whether you see yourself more formal or informal. So look at the line in the middle. If you're more formal, decide how formal you are and make a mark but not in the middle. And if you're more informal, make a mark. So there's my mark. I'm more informal, and I put my mark there. I used to be more formal when I was a child, but as I grew up to know myself, I realized I was really more of an informal person raised in a formal environment. I was becoming more authentic. Now do the same for the dominant versus easygoing. Are you more dominant or more easygoing? No mark smack in the middle, but determine where you are. I'm a little more dominant than easygoing. Some of my friends may say a lot more dominant, but we all make your own subjective choice of how you see yourself and put your marks on there. And then combine the two so that you find yourself in one of the 4 quadrants that are now on there. Now, if you found yourself in the quadrant that has formal and easygoing, that means you're kind of an analytical person. That means that generally you like to have details. You like to have answers before you move forward. You analyze things, and sometimes it takes you a while to make a decision because you can see so many different sides of it. Now, how does that relate to your speaking, or to you as a coach, or to you as a leader? For one thing, recognize everybody's not analytical, and everyone can't handle all the details that you're able to work with and to talk about. Where details, make you excited, they turn other people off. So it means you have to be aware of other people, and you want to make sure that as you're speaking, you're not so analytical that you bore your audience. And also when you're a coach, you don't want to be so detailed that your clients can't follow you. And as a leader, you want to be a little more engaging than analytical so people can go with you. And then when it talks to alignment, you want to make sure that people that are around you can understand who you are, and that the way that you work is in alignment with your analytical style. You're not going to be happy doing something that requires minimal detail because you want more detail. So it's about lining up your life to be with your style that's natural for you. The next style over here is supporting, which is easygoing, informal people. And supporting people are generally very, very happy. They bring the fun to an organization. They bring the fun to a project. They bring fun to their life all the time. If you get a bunch of them together, they're always laughing. On stage, they're a kick. You just enjoy having them. But supporting people have to also bring around them people who are a little bit more focused. And so it's knowing yourself and being in alignment with what's accurate for you and filling your gaps. That's part of what authenticity is about. This over here, dominant and informal, the group that I'm in is motivational. And as you know, motivational, there's many elements to that. When I had my bureau, everybody wanted to be a motivational speaker. And motivational speaking from many perspectives was rah, rah, rah on stage. Motivational can also be inspirational. Less energy, still same thing. Knowing yourself and having around you people who support and understand who you are and how you function. And then the top one is controlling. That's the formal dominant. They like to be more in control of what they're doing and how they do it. And they want people around them who are like that. But you have to realize that what you want to do in terms of alignment is have around you people who understand who you are, and then you want to do things that are in a way that's aligned with what's easy and natural for you. Analytical and motivational are opposites. Analytical is detailed, motivational is generalized. Motivational people benefit when analytical ones are in their team, but they don't benefit when they try to be analytical because it's not aligned with who they are. Same thing with controlling and supporting. These are just another exercise that I go into. This is just a brief overview, but we go into more detail when we help you become more authentic. So let me give you a brief introduction to the Be Authentic method. It's based on so many products that I've written over a 30-year period. Books, the grid, CDs, classes, different ways of helping people understand themselves. And this is the foundation of the entire program. It's called the Authenticity Grid. And it's a balance of these 9 energies that we all have within us. In our program, you understand about your inner voice. No one hears but you, your outer voice, which is how you perceive other people, and your expressive voice, which is who you have become. And you also understand the processes of think, communicate, do. Some of you will be interested in one of these dimensions, some of you with many of them, some of you with a combination of them. This is the foundation, and I teach it to you so it becomes a self-coaching tool. These are 2 of the groups that we put out last year or 2 years ago before the pandemic came. The focus is always on coaches, speakers, leaders, and organizations. And the picture on the bottom is a home page banner of the online school, Authenticity U. The online school takes all the products that you saw above and puts them online for you to have access to as you're speaking, and also access for your clients that you're working with. So the three things that the program does, it provides clarity, content, and courage. Clarity about your message. As I mentioned, that's the #1 challenge that speakers have. It often takes months, if not years, to be clear on your message. And sometimes it takes someone outside of you to help you to see your message. My basic message is authenticity. It took a coach to tell me that. And I knew that that gave me clarity, and it was my true message because I could apply it to my past. In my past, I directed preschool programs. I could talk about authentic children. My current, which I have my bureau, I could talk about authentic speaking. And my future, which was taking my program to corporate, which I could talk about authentic leadership. So it was real clear. I had clarity. I could roll with it then when I had that, because moving as a speaker and as a coach begins with having clarity of what your message is. I also offer content, strategic expansion of your content. I showed you the grid. Now, the beauty of the grid is that it applies in so many different ways. I took 12 years after I wrote the program, took 30 years to write it, to test what it did and how it impacted people. You're going to meet a few people in a few minutes who have benefited from the content of the Authenticity Grid. And you can expand it in a number of ways. You can expand it by going deep in one of the dimensions, or going deep in the entire grid, or in one of the pillars, either inner, outer, expressive. There's so many ways to use it to expand what you do. And what I did find when I had my bureau is that if you are someone who's interested in making a difference in the world, there's definitely one of those dimensions that will resonate with you. And what's on the online school are a number of products that you can use and take benefit with, and celebrate with, and even write classes for as part of the authenticity process. And then you're also going to get courage. One thing I learned about the people that I've been working with is that they gain a level of courage that they did not have when they started working with me. There was always some type of fear, some anxiousness, some trepidation, some lack of clarity that we were able to move away. We were able to transform and move blocks out of their life so that they had more strength to move forward. They were inspired from a number of ways in which the program allows that to happen. And they end up moving forward based on their unique, authentic path, based on who they are, who you are, and the gifts that you brought to the table. For example, I think I passed one. First, I want to talk about clarity. Clarity is king. You've heard that before, probably. But you don't learn just from experience. I mentioned experience is one of the pillars of your message. But you don't just learn from experience, you learn from reflecting on experience. Reflecting, and one of the things that we don't do in society much now, we don't teach our children to do that. Reflection and assessment is really how we grow. And what the program gives you is a number of things to reflect on and to assess on. When I bring new clients on, I tell them there'll be homework, but most of the homework is things to think about. Let me give you the question and you figure out the answer, and then we can figure out the path. So reflection is looking back, and when you look back, then the view going forward is much clearer. So meet Kim Chenier. She's an attorney, and I worked with her for about 6 months because she felt stuck in her business without a clear direction of what to do. She wanted to be a speaker, and with her 6-figure income program. And what she liked about working with me is I asked her the right questions. And after 6 months, she had a 5-step course laid out. And now she's living her dream and helping other people to live their dream. Then there's Kim. Kim Corrick is an occupational therapist and a speaker. And she says the main thing about working with me, which is more important than preparing a speech, even though it's a part of it, was that I helped her through personal issues of transformation. What I realized when I had my bureau is that the speakers who were the most successful and the most impactful were those that I said were okay with themselves. I later understood that that meant that they were authentic. They were being their authentic self. And she was able to work through some stuff, and then that stuff was no longer in her way. And that made her speeches even more impactful. They also say that content is king. So content is about what you create, about what your message is, either as a speaker, a coach, or a leader. But it's what you do after you create your content. That's what really counts. So meet Peggy Muhammad. Peggy's a retired nurse and a Reiki instructor who's turned into an author, speaker, trainer, and product producer. Peggy has been with me for a while, and she has developed her own books. She has a chapter in my book. She's got her own website. She now manufactures aprons and bags, grocery bags, as a part of her program, Living on the Wheel. She integrates 2 dimensions of authenticity in her program, the dimension of net wellness and the dimension of lifestyle, to help people live more healthy and have a better lifestyle. She says she's integrated the dimensions of the grid in her life and work with her grandchildren and presenting to the military hospital where she worked and with faith communities in Dallas and San Antonio. Now she's expanded to her own program, Living from the Wheel. And she said it's been an exquisite experience. And meet Diana Gregory. Diana was a former sales manager with a male-dominant industry. And when she retired a few years ago, she didn't know what to do. She never married, never had children, and she was trying to find herself. And she worked with me, and we helped her find her authenticity is really in helping others. And so what she did is that she started a nonprofit that is now heavily funded, and she has her own vans and other things, and she delivers farm fresh food to the senior citizens in Phoenix. She speaks about it. She works with the seniors and coaching them in different ways, and she's authentic every step of the way and teaches authenticity along the way. Well, if content and clarity are king, then authenticity is the queen. Authenticity offers the softer, equalizing energy that balances and corrects the course. Society has so many instances of inauthenticity that more than we have time to discuss. And it seems that it shows up so much in life, like the picture on top. We've been wearing masks on our mouths and noses for health reasons because of the virus. But way before then, many of us were wearing masks over our eyes too, hiding ourselves from the world, being someone that we weren't naturally, being cookie cutter and not being original. And if we continue to be masked up on the eyes and the mouth, eventually we won't be able to breathe or see. The remedy is becoming authentic, removing the mask and stepping into who you are. Meet Stephen. Stephen worked with me the last year in one of my introductory programs. And he started when he was beginning to market his book. He's an introvert and wanted to be a little bit more extroverted in order to be more successful marketing his book. And he did all these programs and talked to all these people who had their proven formula and said, you have to do my formula and I'll make sure that you get your book done and blah, 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 as he says. But what he realized in the course is that the best way for him to get marketing on his book is to do it in a way that's authentic to himself, that he wouldn't be embarrassed trying to follow someone else's path that wasn't right for him. And so I helped him gain more confidence, and the program helped him gain more confidence to realize that. And now he's moving forward in a number of different activities he's doing surrounding the book that he developed. And then there's Mytesia. Mytesia is from the Detroit, Michigan area. And when she began studying with me, she realized that there's a reason why her career as a beauty professional wasn't as prosperous as it could have been, because she pointed out, she was able to see that she wasn't aligned. She didn't have her pieces and her parts aligned so that she could be moving in the same direction. And she made that modification and it was much better. So imagine that this is you. You closed an important coaching contract. You booked a powerful speaking engagement. Your team exceeded your expectations and you're living your perfect lifestyle. How are you feeling? Which one are you going to be? Are you going to be Michelle, stressed out and anxious and not sure what to do next? Or are you going to be Marva with the key to success? This could be your most fabulous year coming up, 2021, living it authentically. But maybe you're saying, I love it, but I can't afford it. Well, let me assure you that you can. I have a number of programs. I have a menu-based program that is designed to find where you are, what your needs are, what you're trying to accomplish, and what your budget is. And we can put you in one of those programs that works perfectly just for you. You may say you don't have time. Well, as I mentioned earlier, most of my homework for people is to think about things. You can think about things while you're driving, while you're cooking, while you're doing dishes, while you're walking. You can think about things anytime. You control what works inside of your head. I just give you the right question to think of. So that's not a problem. You might be saying you have to focus on COVID. Well, we all have to be very cautious and careful of what we do. But remember that there's some things you have control of and some things that you don't. So take control of what you can take control of and don't worry about the rest. Do what you need to do, but think about the things that are going to help you move your career forward and your personal life forward. You may think that your kids take all of your energy. Well, you know, the beauty is when kids learn this, they have a totally different life. The team that I developed, that I trained last year, is now working together to turn all the 9 dimensions of authenticity into games to give to the youth, to teach to the youth. So youth can learn this and learn this early, and it gives them a new value system. And then it gives the family a new language that helps you to grow together. You might say you have to ask your spouse. Well, bring your spouse into the game because this is conversation you and your spouse can have that's going to deepen your relationship and strengthen your marriage. And you might say you're scared to go deep. You'd be surprised how many people I have met who have been scared to go deep. I've seen it in so many different ways. When you're scared to go into the depth of who you are, you're cutting yourself off from the value of what your life can really bring you. There are statements that say, there's research that says that people that have the most meaningful lives are the ones that go deep. Sometimes you go deep by happenstance because life puts you in situations where you have no choice but to go deep. Other times you go deep because you choose to. I encourage you to choose to go deep because it can make a big difference in your life. Gaining authenticity is like finding buried treasure. The change is immediate and long-lasting, but you don't know what's in there until you look. Let me help you look inside of your treasure box. You don't know what you might find, and it might just change your life. I want you to know this is not a cookie cutter program. It's what I call customized group coaching. So you say, well, Norma, what is that? Customized group coaching means that you're working in a group, but in the group, we get to know you. I get to know you. We all get to know each other. And therefore, our comments are customized for the group. As I was reviewing the testimonies that I've received from hundreds of people and deciding which ones I was going to use, what really struck me is how many of the comments that I got talked about the networking and the people that people met while they're in the program, because it is a group program, and the value of hearing other people's perspectives and learning from others. And oh, I didn't know that's a new way I could have resolved a problem that I have. And what we learn from each other is just priceless in the value that it brings. You have the online school you can do at your own pace. Some programs offer one-on-ones. Everything offers networking. And speakers, you end up speaking on a live event on Zoom. Now we're doing them live, and maybe we'll do them live again, but right now we're doing them on Zoom. So after the working on becoming more authentic yourself and helping you strengthen your topic and integrate it with one of the or more of the dimensions of authenticity and telling your story in a dynamic way, I put you live on an event. And coaches end up with an income generating resource. The authenticity grid then becomes your tool. There's an assessment that goes with that. And then there's a number of online courses that you can offer to your clients that you can actually do together with them or have them do independently. You can do it in a number of different ways. And I'm also looking for people who are interested in writing courses for Authenticity Youth. And this is a way that you can use the Authenticity program to become a certified authenticity coach. Leaders end up being more engaging in their interactions with team members and others. You know, research shows that in work environments, 70% or more of the workforce is not engaged. They only go to work for a paycheck. But what if your team was more engaged and more engaging? What would that do for the success of your organization, for your success and the success of your business? And no matter what your personal life is, being a part of the program enhances your personal life. I take you from where you are to where it is that you want to be. And I help you have more clarity on where it is you want to be. So the next step for you is to schedule a call with me. Everyone that comes into the program, I need to know personally. I want to know who you are, what you're about, what your goals are, what your challenges are, where you want to go, what results you're looking for. I have a short application. I don't take everybody, but I want you in the application to know a little bit more about you, and a 30-minute call. The program starts on January the 7th. And again, there are many affordable ways and different paths to your authenticity. Let me talk to you, find out what is it you're seeking to achieve, and see what program and what path would be most effective for you. And I have deep discounts for those that sign up before Christmas, and a complimentary Jumpstart one-on-one session if you pay in full before Christmas. All you have to do, because the program is just for you, it's customized for your needs. And all you have to do is go to meetwithnorma.com. I don't want you to end up inactive and unable to get across the bridge. Getting across the bridge is really, really, really important. You don't want to stay where you are. You want to move forward so that 2021 can give you all it is that it can give you. Go to meetwithnorma.com, and Linda, please put that in the chat box for others to be able to see, and schedule an appointment with me. And then we can go further from there, which I look forward to. So I would like to, I'm going to take off my screen share and answer any questions that you might have. Have any questions come in, Linda?
Sorry, it took me a second to unmute. There weren't any questions that came in. However, I just would like to point out, we didn't give them enough time in the beginning to introduce themselves and where they came from, because they started rolling in after you started speaking. So there's several comments and introductions. And there was also a comment from Pamela regarding the first exercise, and she said that it was a great exercise and that she uses something similar in her practice.
Great, great. Thank you. All right, wait, I see some familiar faces, and hi everybody that I know. Good to see you. And let me ask if there's any questions anyone would like to have. Hi, Rena. Hi, Agatha. Agatha and I talked last year from Ukraine or somewhere out there she's from, and it's good to see you, Agatha. She was pregnant then, and now she's putting her son in the bed, so wonderful. And Carolyn, welcome. I haven't met you. And Zora and Margie and Denise. Denise sounds familiar. And hi, Zora. So are there any questions I can answer for you? And where are you on your authenticity? Are you speakers, coaches, leaders? Where are you? Tell me a little bit about yourselves. Zora, you're muted. You're muted. Who is Zora?
I am an author as of August, this past August.
Congratulations.
Mask too, I love it.
Sight Unseen.
Yes.
And the theme of the book is to diss the dis in disability, both because I have a disability and I was a physical therapist and of course worked with many people with disability. I am totally retired. I'm a senior citizen.
Yes.
And I do talks about my book. I just need to find more places and expand my talking. I don't have anything to sell other than my book. I know I need to go somewhere. I just don't know where that somewhere is.
Right, right. I understand that. I'd love to have a conversation with you. I love the mask that's on your cover, because as you see, I'm about masks as well. I even have a poem about a masquerade. So, and there's a lot of places you can go, some referrals I can give you. So just set up an appointment at meetwithnorma.com, and we can have a conversation. Where do you live?
Right now, I'm in Florida because of the virus, but we live in Pennsylvania.
Okay, okay.
I haven't been to that home in a year, so.
Well, at least you're enjoying good weather in the wintertime. That's a good thing.
Yes, it is lovely today. It's cool today in
Okay.
Florida.
Okay, good. Well, set up. I do have some ideas for you. Look forward to talking with you and sharing them with you. So set up.
Okay.
We'll talk.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Margie. Do you want to share something? How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you and everyone?
Fantastic. Where are you calling from?
LA area,
Oh,
California. Yeah, actually, I met you, and well, I met individually with you for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, in Venice.
In Venice. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. When I have my programs there.
Right. Yeah.
So you're a speaker then, huh?
Well, that's what I thought about years ago, a speaker and then mediator and then marital family therapist and now into hair and beauty. So I'm trying to find the right direction.
Yes, I understand. Now, we've all been there. Bonita's on the call, and Bonita's a marriage family therapist also, who's been on the same path that you're on. So I set up the call. I remember you when you said that you were looking for your path. That brought back the memory. So set up a call. Let's talk. I have some ideas for you, and we can a little bit and see what might be the best path for you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Rena.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, how are you doing today?
Super. Great presentation, Norma. I really enjoyed that.
Thank you, Rena. I appreciate it. Do you have a question or anything you wanted to say other than that?
Well, I wanted to share a little bit about what I'm doing. I am a voice, speech, and presentation coach, and an author and a speaker. I have 2 books, Empower Your Voice for Women in Business, Politics, and Life, and Her Voice in Law for women attorneys. And I have a course that I could use some help with. It's called Speak Like a Pro Academy. And the idea is it's 10 group sessions, deep dive, and then I give 5 individual coaching sessions with each participant. And then they can work on the speech project that they want to work on and develop with help. And finding ways to fill that course. I only take 10 people every 10 weeks. And the model, I would love to accommodate, all 10 people. And I only get 2, 3, 4 signing up at a time. So that's kind of my question, or the thing that I'm kind of working on generally right now, is how to promote and fill that course.
Yeah, the marketing side is generally oftentimes the most difficult side for coaches and speakers to deal with. And that's because we are creative. We like to create new stuff every day, actually, right?
Right. I'm a content builder.
Yeah, we're content builders all the time. But marketing is do the same thing today, tomorrow, analyze it, do it again and again and again. And it's like after 2 or 3 days, we're tired. We want to go create something. And that's why sometimes the success is challenging. I have a fabulous marketing consultant, and I refer people to her. We can talk, and then I can see if that's the right connection for you. And every time I talk to her, I have a headache because I have to think differently than what I'm used to thinking. But I've learned to do it. I mean, I'm not as dependent on her now as I used to be. But it takes a minute to get to that mindset. So let's talk, and then me ask you a few questions, and then we can see whether I can help you or whether I can need to refer you over to her.
Excellent. I'll be in touch, Norma. Thank you.
I look forward to it. Good. Who else would like to share something? Carolyn, I see your face looking at me. How are you?
I'm good. I'm the person, I can't remember her name, the first illustration that you gave.
Oh, Michelle, yes.
Michelle, that's me. I'm a teacher. I was at a Mind, Body, Spirit Center, and I taught wonderful classes and really related to people well and speak there. And due to COVID, we're not doing that anymore. And so I'm looking at where do I want to go? Where do I want to place myself? Right. I don't want to just curl up and go, I'm not doing anything. Right. So people have told me to write a book, And I go, yeah. And I've taken all these classes about how to write a book, and that doesn't seem to resonate. And so I was intrigued by I don't even know what you called it, when you were talking about the different ages of people that start businesses and everything, because I'm in the more mature category. And part of my mind says, well, you're too old to start something new, and I go, what? Not possible. So I still have a lot of energy, and I think I'm in the easygoing informal group.
Okay, the supporting group. Okay.
The supporting group, and yet not. So I'm in this kind of discovery. I'm not conflicted or confused. I'm just in this discovery mode, and what's going to be next, and what are the possibilities? I'm into possibilities.
Well, there's plenty of them because you have a great foundation, and you're right. Writing the book by itself is not going to be enough, and it might satisfy the getting out of you what you have, but not getting out to the world what you want to get out to the world. So I'd be happy to have a conversation with you and ask you some questions, and maybe even give you an assessment or two to learn a little bit more about you, and see if I can help you in some direction. Yeah, I love people like you that are looking for that, I need to do something and I'm not going. Peggy's on the call too. I shared her picture and where she was at with her book and her products. So you're another Peggy that just needs to be blossomed. So let me just push your point and get you moving. I'd be happy to.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to share anything or ask any questions? I see a Linda Smith. I know two Lindas. I'm not sure which Linda Smith it is, but welcome on the call. I know two of you. Are there any other questions that I could answer or feedback anyone looking for?
I'm just saying hello, Norma. How are you? It's Kim Yan.
Oh, Kim Yan, how are you? Say hi to Linda too. It's been a long time. Kim Yan was with me. I started my programs in around the 2000 area. And then Kim Yan was around then, years ago. And then I took a break with all the deaths in my family, so. Yeah,
it was a lot, but I have learned a lot, and I love the questions that I'm here because I've been there.
Hey, Kim Yan.
Hey, Linda. It took me so long to get here. And so I'm excited about new things that are happening for me as well. And we even have a travel group that we had a meeting a couple of weeks ago. We're going to start doing some things together. So because we can't travel anymore right now. So we're going to put some things together. We're very excited about it. So it was good to hear where everybody is and never give up.
Yes.
Ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Awesome.
Kim Yan, set up a call. Let's catch up. I'd love to talk with you and check out with all the things you're doing. Yeah.
I will definitely do that.
Yes.
Hi.
And go ahead. Who's that?
That's Diwali. How are you, ladies?
We're fine.
I was working, something happened. So I was just in the beginning of the call. And my question is, are you going to send the recording through the email?
The recording will go out tomorrow, yes.
Thank you very much. And to all of you, happy coffee holidays, because that's what we have. And we have to do the best that we can with whatever is in front of us.
That's right.
They say if you get lemons, make lemonades. No, I figured out if you get lemons, just take one shot of them. It's sour, but it might wake you up. If you can do lemonade, make the lemonades, with the sugar or whatever, or just leave it there to see what happens. Sometimes we don't have to touch the lemons because are not for us. It's to pass it on. And that's the wisdom.
That's the wisdom.
So take care of yourself, lady. Go to work.
We understand. Thank you for stopping and thank you for your messages. Thank you. Thank you. I want to invite all of you. I have a new Facebook group for authentic speakers, coaches, and leaders. So please, I invite you to join right now it's authentic speakers and coaches, but it's also going to add leaders. Any other feedback or comments? Anita,
Hey, Norma.
Yes. Oh, Linda, hi.
Hey, it's Linda. This is your hugging friend. This is your hugging friend.
My hugging BWN Linda. How are you, my dear? So good to hear from you. So good to see you.
I am wonderful. I just popped in. I just saw the email. I was in the middle of doing some work, so I said, let me pop in and say hi.
Good. Thank you for doing that. I look forward to having connection. Set up a one-on-one with me. Let's have a conversation. We talked before.
Okay, baby.
Meetwithnorma.com. Cool. Cool. Anybody else? Bonita, you want to say anything, or Peggy?
Just sit back, because you're going to take us on a wonderful ride when you are coaching with Norma Hollis, because I have learned so much, especially about being transparent and authentic, because I had a problem in doing that. And she has a way of taking you deeper within inside of yourself. And so what you're hearing is the work of Coach Norma Hollis, for me to be able to speak out loud and say, I'm so happy to be me, because I claim me. I was trying to be everybody else. I was Michelle. Don't know what path I wanted to be on. I'm so confused. But Norma knows how to bring, to abstract that out of you and to get you to the end result. So I'm a living testimony of what Miss Norma Hollis can do. That's it.
Well, I'd like to just add an amen to that, and that I have watched Norma blossom so many people like Bonita, and over almost 20 years, maybe 15, 16, 17, but she has grown and she has helped others grow. So powerful lady, powerful information, and hang in there with her and join the community, because it's a great community.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And also, just to let everyone know who did share why they were here and where they're from, Norma will have an opportunity to read that, even though we did not share it live on the call. So thank you for sharing, for all those who did.
Thank you. And Peggy, you want to say something? I see you're unmuted, but we can't see you.
She's on the phone. She's on the phone and in a car. She was live, but she had to leave.
Okay.
She put that in the chat that she had to leave.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Any other comments? I want to thank you all for coming and for staying, and I encourage you to schedule one-on-one. I'd love to know more about you and where you're at. Some of you have shared a bit today, which is very interesting, but I want that 30 minutes. I can go a little deeper, and I want to see your form that you fill out so I can know more about who you are, and have a conversation to see if I can help you to go to where you want, because we all have those dreams and where we want to go and our goals. And if you're over 50, you're finished practicing. It's now to take to leverage all the things you have practiced. And let me help you. I'm over 50 as well, quite a bit over 50. And so I know what leveraging is like, and I know what it's like also to be under 50 and be confused and not know quite how to get there. But I encourage you to do that. Yes, yes. Any other comments? Feedback? Bonnie, I love your picture. It looks like something nice. Drawn. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you, everyone. Agatha, thank you. Good to see you.
Your program sounds very interesting, Norma, I must say.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, dear?
I said your program sounds very interesting. The whole topic of authenticity. Very interesting.
It is, it is. Well, please schedule a one-on-one with me. Let's have a conversation. I saw your picture for a minute and your beautiful Christmas tree, and I saw your face for a second, but I'd love to have a conversation with you also.
So you said that you have affordable options for those,
Yes,
maybe, I have not been working since the beginning of the COVID, so.
Yeah, we can get you started, not a problem. We'll get you started. I have a lot of different price points. So some move slower, some move faster, depending on what you're looking for, what you're interested in. But what happens with people a lot, like Bonita started last year at my entry-level program, and now she's going further. But she learned a lot in just first year. Steve, who I showed you his testimony, he only stayed for a year, but he got what he needed and he moved on, and that's fine. Peggy's been with me for, I don't know, 8 years or so. So we get together, we grow a bit. She goes away, does some things, she comes back, but she stays in the mix. She's still part of the community. So a number of people, Linda's been with me almost 20 years. So you kind of get in and kind of grows on you. I mean, being authentic grows on you because you're getting closer to you. And I mean, isn't ourself most of our best topic, our number one topic, our number one responsibility? And our responsibility gets lost sometimes in the shuffle of what life requires of it. It starts very early. I mean, I could talk for a while, you know, this authenticity, we begin losing it in our early childhood when we want to dance and beat drums because we like music, and mommy says, don't make so much noise, don't talk so much, don't sing so much, you know, and we're stepping back and we keep stepping back. And then we get into kindergarten and they say, stand in line and wait till I tell you to go to the bathroom, and we're under control so early. And sometimes we stay in those same desks, they become cubicles, and we never really step into who we are until we get past 50 and we get, or actually I find that around 40 is when it starts to happen. At 40 is what happens is that the kids are empty nesting, and you've been working long enough to realize, you know, this is not what I thought. This is not my degree was in. This wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And then the relationship is like, is that all it is, really? And so then we're like, so what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I got 20, 30, 40 years left. What am I going to do? And that's when it starts to hit you. You know, it's not, I started out thinking life was like this, but now it's like this. So how do I transition? Because I'm stuck with what I've already put in place, but I want to switch it to where I really need to be, to who I really am. And how do I do that? And that's where the challenge comes. And I help you do that. And the change is not a sweeping change where all of a sudden you come up different. It's one small tweak at a time, one thing at a time. And but with the grid that I showed you, that's the foundation. There's an assessment that goes with the grid, and it helps you to know where you're most vulnerable and where it might be the first place you want to make that tweak. And we suggest that you do one tweak and try it on for 30 to 90 days and see how it changes your life. So one tweak, for example, you know, I live in Los Angeles where traffic sometimes is crazy. And I work at home, and I was in Santa Monica one day driving home on a street called Pico, and it was rush hour. And it took 5 lights to go 1 block. And I said, really? These people are going 5 lights to go 1 block every day? Really? I said, but I can make a choice. I can tweak this. I can make a right turn and a left turn and keep going right and left as long as I can. I'm going to get home. And I don't have the frustration of the robotic autopilotness of being 5 lights to go 1 block. That is a waste of time. But we get on autopilot. We start doing things and it becomes a habit. And especially when we're in 9-to-5 jobs, you know, you get up, you set your clock, you do this, you go to work, you know, it's just a routine and you don't really get out of it. And the next thing you know, you're stuck in the routine and you're unhappy, and you get up and do it again and you're still unhappy. Well, is this what life's about, really? But isn't life more about what you came with? Weren't you given certain gifts and talents to use? Didn't you become a coach, a speaker, a counselor, a teacher, or something, a helping profession, because you have gifts to give and you want to use them? Life is not just going on robot and fulfilling somebody else's dream. Life's about knowing what your dream is and living your dream and fulfilling it, and not getting caught up in the autopilot world that ends up in cancer and strokes and death, because you're eating food that they tell you to eat, not what your body requires. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Authenticity is deep. As Peggy says in one of her testimonials, it's amazing how those 9 little words can be so deep. We've been talking about it for years and we're still going deeper. Yeah, it is. Because as human beings, we're deep. We're really, really deep. We're not superficial, just what you look at. Society will have you think that we're only about our healthcare, our who we spend money on, and the money that we bring in. And the inner voice means nothing. But the inner voice is really who we are. But we get so disconnected from it very early in life. And my job is to reconnect you with your inner voice, reconnect you with what you were born to do, reconnect you with the spirit that lives within you. It's a very inspirational program. It's inspirational from our perspective, and it's inspirational from the people who I attract who speak to you also, because we all coach each other. I may be the leader of the group, but I'm not the only expert. Everyone that's lived a few years, especially if you've gotten past the 50, you're an expert in something. You're an expert in living and staying alive, if nothing else. And you bring some information. So you have accomplished, you've overcome some things that others haven't overcome yet. And so when you share how you dealt with your intuition or how you dealt with the network that's around you, then other people learn from you. And you get to know them and know what their challenges are. And you get to say, oh, dang, well, I thought my challenges were bad, but you know, I feel pretty good because I see how bad their challenge was, or I see how they worked that one out. And I can do that too. And it always amazes me at the transformations that are made. I never know how a person will transform, but every single person that's been in the program has transformed. And the longer they're in the program, the more they transform. And it makes a difference in their life. I mean, I could go through names. I gave you a few. I could talk about names and show you testimonies that go way back. But everybody makes some type of transformation. And that's the beauty. And the beauty is not in because it's Norma or not in anything except the energy. The grid itself is magical, and how when you learn how to work it, it tells you what kind of people you need to be around, where your gaps are, where your strengths are. It's just phenomenal. And you know, one of my whys is because it took me 30 years to develop this, because I was trying to figure out who I was. I was 28 years old and realized I had done everything my parents had said to do. I was a really dutiful little girl. And at 28, I realized I had done so much that I became their view of who I'm supposed to be. And I didn't know who I was. I was married to somebody I did not really care about. I had all the financial accoutrements that are supposed to be so wonderful, and I was miserable. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who I was. And that's when I started my 30-year journey to understand myself. And then I found out that how I saw myself is how others saw themselves as well. And it just kept going from there. So I'm at a great place now where I finally have finished downloading all the program. And now I'm just avidly sharing it as much as I can, because I'm getting old. And my goal is to get it out there in the world as much as possible, while I'm still here. So it's I'm running not against time, I'm running with time to share it with the right people. It's not the kind of program that everybody, it's not for everybody. I've had people that join me 1 month and they're gone a few months later because they don't want to go deep. They're not coachable. They think they're perfect as they are. I mean, we're all perfect and we are, but we all can get a little better. And it's for people who really have a desire to go deeper, to know themselves more, to lead a more meaningful life. You kind of people that recognize that there's so much superficial stuff going on in the world, and you don't have to be superficial. You could be deep. And I think clients and the society as a whole is looking for that, because the superficial really made itself clear in this past year, big time.
Norma, if you could share with everybody, it's in the chat, but if you could share once more how to get in touch with you and how to make an appointment with you.
Thank you, Linda. Yes, I'm taking appointments to talk to you about where you're at. I want to know about your journey. I want to know your challenges. I want to know what results you're looking for. And I want to discuss how I might be able to help you with the authenticity process. And all you have to do is go to meetwithnorma.com, meetwithnorma.com. And we'll have a good 30-minute session, sometimes a little more than that, depending on how the conversation goes. I'm an energy person, and I like to read your energy and read and know kind of who you are. And I have, as part of our program, you learn some of your gifts and talents. And one of my talents is the ability to go deep with people and to recognize and read them early in the game. So that enables me to get some clarity on the path that you're looking for. I kind of have a spirit-to-spirit, soul-to-soul conversation with you when I meet with you. And that's why it's important for me to spend the 30 minutes so I can go a little deeper and really give you some honest feedback about what might be valuable for you. Other comments, questions? All right, well, I'll be happy to talk with you one-on-one. I can stay on here and talk forever. As you see, I have a lot to share, but I'm not going to give you all my stuff right now. I'm going to talk to you one-on-one and then get you started. The program will start on January the 7th, so we have plenty of time. And again, I will offer deep discounts for anyone that gets started before Christmas. So I invite you to schedule your appointment and let's talk. And I look forward to it. So thank you again for being here, for staying, and for your interest in the work that I'm doing, and particularly in your desire to be authentic. And I look forward to our one-on-ones. Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. Take care, everybody.
Okay, you too.
Bye-bye.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays. Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye.